And showtime. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. Look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and one of your hosts on this program, sitting side by side this week with my co-host, Eric Simpson, a business transformation and improvement expert for MSPs and other IT providers. And Eric, let's see if the folks watching the program right now can figure out where we are. Big giant clue behind us. We are actually in Las Vegas, Nevada at CompTIA's annual ChannelCon event, which is, I guess, co-located with their Partner Summit event. And very interesting show, Eric. Are you enjoying ChannelCon this year?
I'm enjoying ChannelCon this year. It's a lot of great content, and you know, as we get into today's topic, very, very unique organization in how it's structured and its mission to basically educate and give back to the IT community and create opportunities for others in the IT industry. So, it's a very, very unique and distinct organization from many levels.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because I mean, ordinarily at this point in the 5-minute roundup, we would talk about something from the news, but we were discussing earlier before we began recording that this week we'd like to do just a little bit of a love letter, if you will, to CompTIA, because to your point, Eric, there really isn't any other institution in the channel quite like it. If you think about the various functions that CompTIA performs, so they are a think tank, for example. I've been struck as I do interviews around the conference here at how many times somebody has told me about a new research study, a new white paper, some new substantive piece of content that CompTIA has produced lately about a really important issue in the industry. There are plenty of analyst organizations out there, but they're not really embedded in the channel the way CompTIA is. If you look at CompTIA's advisory councils, the communities, they are led by members of the channel. So it's actually an institute that's part of the channel, CompTIA, as opposed to an organization like Gartner or IDC that advises the channel. Who else but CompTIA flies people out to Washington, D.C. once a year to advocate on behalf of the industry? Plenty of other advocacy organizations, obviously, going to Washington, D.C. or based there all the time. Some of them make arguments in favor of small businesses, for example, which is applicable to the channel. But really, CompTIA is the only sort of group within the channel that is 100% focused on regulatory issues that affect MSPs and VARs. And of course, we're here at ChannelCon, and the big announcement from CompTIA at the show here is the creation of this new Future of Tech initiative that they have going, and you can check it out at futureoftech.org. Basically, CompTIA and its Emerging Technology Advisory Council has identified a list of technologies that are really going to define the next decade in our industry. And they understand that CompTIA members basically need to be conversant with all these technologies if they're going to remain competitive. And so CompTIA is doing what it always does in that situation. It's pulling together great content and information and assembling best practices and defining use cases and making that available to VARs and MSPs so that they can keep up with changes in the industry. It's really difficult, if not impossible, for me to point to any other organization that performs these kinds of functions.
And certainly none that has taken such a leadership position and really affected change across all of the initiatives that they set their mind to. And what you said, Rich, is really, I think, part of the DNA of CompTIA is involving us from the industry in these groups and councils and in the decision-making process and helping shape the outcomes and the strategies and taking it to Capitol Hill and championing these causes. It's really, really interesting. And because it is a nonprofit, everything that they take in, they return back in terms of investments to achieve these initiatives. So it's really great to see them evolve over the years and grow to such a large, financial position and such a large position of authority in the channel.
The number that I heard secondhand yesterday or the day before was that CompTIA pulls in something like $85 million a year in membership fees and training fees and so on and so forth. But as you say, and this is critical, it's a nonprofit organization, so every penny of that 85 million goes right back out into the channel. And yeah, again, just sort of a unique institution.
Yeah, yeah. So hats off and thanks, CompTIA.
So let's take a look at your tip of the week. What do you have for our listeners this week?
Well, this week's tip of the week is all about defining success for your team. You know, as you know, Rich, I work with quite a few IT provider business owners, and you know, invariably, you know, they all want the same thing in terms of success for each member of their team. But what I've been finding here and there is the definition of success is being constructed by the business owner sometimes in kind of a vacuum or solitary process. And so, you know, when I get involved and I look at what they're expecting their teams to do, and you know, altruistically providing them tools and support and help to become successful, sometimes what I find is a lack of the involvement of the team member or the employee or the technician, the engineer, the sales professional in that process. So I'd like us to think about, when we're developing what the definition of success for a role is, and even an individual within a role, to involve that individual in that discussion, because I guarantee business owners might be surprised at what that person's definition of success is, or even bring to light things that are bottlenecks that are preventing them to realize the true potential of success that the business owner wants them to achieve, because of some of these other things that they're having to deal with on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis that the business owner simply isn't aware of or tracking. So tip of the week, involve the team in defining what success looks like, understand and listen to what they've got to say, and be open to, you know, taking some constructive criticism about the things that they're being asked to do that may be impeding that success, you know, unintentionally.
Yeah, I mean, you know, management in any organization really shouldn't be a one-way street. If you're doing the job right, you are listening as well as imparting information. And of course, the other, you know, the ancillary benefit of doing what you're talking about here is that when you do listen and when you act on the input you're getting from your employees, they feel more invested in the business, and that's going to be good for everybody.
Absolutely.
Well, speaking about things that are good for everybody, here we are. It's time for just one more story. In Las Vegas, Nevada, where many of you are probably aware, last week there was a plague of grasshoppers that swept through the city here. Apparently has something to do with wetter weather than usual over the winter, and so there are more grasshoppers in Nevada than there were in years past. But it does kind of get me wondering, because we flew into the city a few days ago here. It was about 110 degrees, and I was just thinking to myself, is heat among the plagues of Egypt in the Bible? I mean, because that would be 2 out of what, 8, and not a good sign. Actually, no, heat was not. But you know, so let's just check off a few items on the list here and see if we run into them, any of them here in Las Vegas. Frogs? Have you seen any frogs?
Not lately.
No, that's a good sign. Wild animals or flies. I mean, maybe not in above average quantities.
Yeah, not inside this awesome, you know, event venue.
Boils, possibly, but people would be hiding it.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay. I think it's okay. We just got the locusts, and it stopped there. So you know, God has not condemned Las Vegas yet. We've still got some time to get out.
Pretty sizable critters too. These things, huh?
These were not minor grasshoppers. Yeah, I'm glad to be arriving after they've left.
That's right.
Actually. Well, that is all the time we've got this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you very much for joining us, folks. If you like the program, you'd like to keep up with it, maybe take a look at some past episodes you missed, what you want to do is go to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube. You will see everything that we've got, and if you click the little icon there to be notified about future episodes, we will let you know the next time we're going to be recording. You want to read more about CompTIA ChannelCon and News of the Week and Business Growth Strategy, it's a great place to go is ChannelProNetwork.com. We have got great new content for you every day there. To learn more about Eric and his business and the work that he does with his clients, go to ErickSimpson.com. That is ERICK Simpson.com. That is our episode for this week. We will be back again next week with another episode for you. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.